Hey guys, and welcome to the Mysteries of Selindor, episode 121. I am your GM Gagnor, and I am bad at recapping. So, our resident bard Seti, what did we do last week?
I don't have that one open because I forgot. Hang on.
It's like every week, it's like the second one of us seems like, oh yeah, we got it.
We
The other was just like,
prepared to go
what?
into the cradle of purity,
Error
and
loading
then
this page. Oh
we
no.
went into the cradle of purity.
Oh
Yep.
boy.
I mean, that's
Uh,
basically what happened.
Teddy talked to Kieran, Grim talked to Zugmoy, and Balin talked to Labra. And then we all went in there. Balin and Nikita got there early, and then they played Catch the Aquam for a couple of days. And then we all caught up. And then
Yep.
we got on a
Yeah.
boat.
So, as you guys, is it your boat
I think
that you're getting onto to head?
Yes.
yes. I think the most pertinent information we picked up last time was that Kieran's called the sleepless child, literally can't sleep, has never slept a day in his life. The ephemeris is capable of making a door to the far realm, but also enables whoever carries it to use as many fractures as they can find, basically. So
Well,
those
more
are
importantly, I guess that was a bad way of putting it. It breaks the fracture limit.
okay.
That doesn't mean they can necessarily use as many as they can find.
Okay, well then
But-
I was hyperbolizing, but
No, that's my fault. I think that's what I said, but I didn't mean it that way.
carries it to use more fractures.
More fractures. Okay. I mean, that's pretty solid information. So the last I remember,
And we found a guy that
Okay.
works at the temple, and he explained that they can bring dead flesh back to the living, and that suggested that we go talk to Dr. Mercule.
right? So on your way to see Dr. Mercule in your guys' little boat. I don't remember what time of day it is. Does anybody know? Was it evening, afternoon?
Yes, it was.
And
Wednesday.
then usually
just
6 p.m.
happened.
is when the storm happens. So
The
Wednesday.
storm just happened.
Yeah.
all right, so so you guys, as you the storm is hitting, and you guys collected the amount that you were able to get, and the storm finally passes. You begin making your way along and across this inlet of water. I guess would you call it a bay? Is that what you call it? I don't know what you call the specific type of water. A lagoon, maybe. But either way, as you travel through this body of water within the Crescent Isle, are you steering away from the Aquam bridges, or are you guys going to try to sort of follow it straight in?
I mean, I just thought we were going to the temple.
I mean, yeah, so there are 4 Aquam bridges that go to the 4 different main locations on the island, one of which is the temple to the north, the gap to the south, what appears to be an amusement park to the east, which who knows what that's about. And to the west, you guys haven't really explored that region or found out any other information. But the big advertising is to the other side. But
Whatever the most direct route is.
yeah, I mean, just staying close to the Aquam Bridge, you're sailing in that direction. I was just wondering if you guys wanted to go out and away from it to avoid any other passerbys, or if you wanted to just follow it directly. If you don't care about that, just following it directly is the easiest way.
Yeah, that's fine, I think.
Simple me.
So as you're doing this and you're making your way by sailing in the unfolded boat, which I think you'd put at the maximum size, you are all sorting through your aquam that is filled into this thing and making your way north to the Temple of Vedava. On your way, you do see several pilgrims that are making their way there. Others with backpacks that seem to just be travelers, some that don't look like they're denizens of the water at all. Haggard adventurers, some of which you think you might even recognize from the Howling Divide. During your times when you were originally looking for different fractures within reality that led to these different dungeons that you could claim for your own. These people seem to have come here to make a profit off of Aquam, and then are now making their way out of, well, the Cauldron of Purity and into the greater world where they can bring their spoils in and make money. So you see that there are several of these pilgrims that are making their way north along this bridge, and as they see you sail by on the boat, you see a couple of them just flip you off. Just get super
Rude.
pissed that you guys are. Well, I mean, they're walking the 3 or 4 mile
And they
walk
should get a boat too.
that it is, and they just watch you guys boating by, enjoying yourself. So they flip you off as you go by.
Oh, can I be playing music to entertain everybody along that we pass?
Yeah, it's kind of got a Doppler effect because you're moving a lot faster than them. Like it's a sailboat, right? Grim?
It's a
Must be
rowing
Grim.
boat.
It's a rowing boat. Who's rowing? That would determine the speed.
Obviously,
I mean,
Mitnir.
definitely Grim, and I'm assuming Mitner and whoever
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, both of you just go ahead and make me a strength check. Or athletics. Even better.
21.
Okay.
19.
Sweet. So you guys are like rowing. And as you pass by these people, there's like this music coming. You see a couple of people like, what
I'm
is that
playing
sound?
the Blue Man Group, top 3 hits.
Top 3 hits? Sure. Whatever those may be.
we got Mitnir's theme song for sure.
All right, so as this music playing barge just like flies by as they're rowing like crazy, it takes you guys no more than an hour to make the what would usually be close to a quarter to a half day's journey from the center of the lagoon up to the northern temple, that is Vedaba's temple. As you guys begin to arrive, you see that there are a few docks that have been set up. There weren't the last time you approached here. It was very wild and unkept. But as you arrive here now, it appears that the beach has been shorn up with stone. They have like a small seawall and then little barges, or not barges, whatever the word is called, docks that just come out. They don't appear to be made out of anything special, just like the different wood types that are available here that are growing, like the different palm woods and whatever it is that they have, and it's just like tied together, relatively rustic. But you find a nice place to dock, and you see that there's a relatively bustling seaside market here. It's not like anything big or huge, but there's a couple of people saying, yeah, get this, your souvenirs that you want before leaving, the Temple of Purity. Oh, look here. This aquam has been etched by masters. Look at it. It's just a decorative item now, but look how beautiful. Just like, I'm just trying to like sell people the last few knickknacks here or there before they make their way out. Some of it's seashell, some of it's monster parts, some of it's aquam accessories. But as you guys make your way there and see that the temple is going into the woods, you see that an actual path has been hewn through the dense thicket. No longer smelling dead fish everywhere that you go. Now just smelling what appears to be like a naturally damp seaside jungle. And making your way deep inside, you find yourself looking at the beginning of the entryway up to Vedaba's temple on the outside, which I don't know if you guys remember, but there were very many carved reliefs. There were different pieces of strange monsters strewn about.
Yep.
And you had to put them together as a statue to get inside. It would give you a small object that would make you passable within the region. However, now when you approach, you see that there are several strange stone creatures that are simply moving about. They're going into like different sections of this small temple area, and they are just serving the grounds. It appears that they're sweeping away leaves. They're helping individuals that are like having trouble with the steps. And the way through into the temple proper is open.
All right.
Yeah, there's several people moving and bustling about. There are researchers that are talking. There's like this small little furred individual that's probably about the size of a halfling that's standing there and giving instructions to what appears to be a snake-armed humanoid creature with like octopus legs. And you just like, you're not sure exactly what they're saying, but she's clearly giving instructions to this thing, and it's just going, oh, stone head. You can hear the sound of it rumble as it nods. What would you guys like to do?
Go inside.
All right, so you guys just make your way straight inside. You see that as you pass by, there's a checkpoint right at the entrance of the door. There's a individual standing there, and they say, yes, in a small line for me. It says, are you leaving through the whirlpool, or are you here for temple?
For the
We're here
temple.
to return to my lab.
Grim, welcome back. It is so good to see you. Yes, your lab is undisturbed, and you may take the side entrance should you wish to avoid the very long line inside. There are plenty that are still exploring your exploits. We have a museum tour inside now, but since it's you, just your normal side entrance will do just fine, sir.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you.
Is Dr. Mercule around?
The professor, yes, he is inside. He is, he should be near the refinement tanks, Vetiver's nectar. Otherwise, he might be in the under croft. That's the word.
Okay, thank you.
We should be able to access that from my lab pretty easily, I think.
Okay,
Oh, yes.
let's do that.
Speaking of which, I
I'm
don't know if
remembering the layout pretty well enough.
Yeah, I think I put you guys on there.
Yeah.
You should be able to just go to thing and see the layout.
Look at that.
Roll 20 is blinding me.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Doesn't do dark mode till you actually get into a campaign.
So as you guys do see this, you see that much of the vegetation has been cleared out, all the barrels, all the different random things. Much of the instruments have been refined. You can see a lot of the mosaic tile work everywhere has been cleaned up as best as possible. It still looks antique, but they're trying to like preserve the history of it without disturbing it too much, while still making it livable, and a relatively clean place to be doing the kind of experiments that they're working on. The entrance that you take usually is along the side path in this small little it's kind of like a little waterway that comes from this waterfall, and it's basically like this little side path that just goes right across and around the water, but it's netted on both sides by just these gnarly, naturally formed sort of banisters of wood. It's very beautiful. Feels very much like your time that you spent in the Solaris district proper, the not like the actual House of Lamb whenever you guys visited. As you approach the inside, though, you find yourself once again in your relatively modestly sized hidden abode, where you have much of your instruments still there. Some of them have collected quite a bit of dust in your absence, because even the small number of days that you've been gone has been several months in here. But as you find your way inside, yep, that is your own personal quarters, your laboratory. Granted, it would not have a table in it anymore. Instead, it would have whatever it is that you desire to set up inside. Whatever you want to claim to be there is there. With the small exclusion of, certainly, there are the ruined pieces of what were your initial attempts at creating, or maybe not even just yours, but the ones that developed it with you and for you, of your Sanisphere.
Yeah.
Also, there are several pieces of materials that you used in your experiments with goats and mushrooms that are in various stages of malformation. So when you guys walk in, the one thing that I will say that you notice is the still like floating in jars, just strange different stages of production of strangely malformed versions of goat embryos.
Yes. Well, there you go.
Many which have mushroom caps just growing off of them.
Now, with the Sanisphere, how big does the Sanisphere get? Would the Sanisphere be big enough to fit a person?
It depends on what size Sanisphere you're working with, but the one that you guys produced and sent to the competition was, I believe, 5 feet across, so it should be enough to house a person.
Okay. I'm just trying to think of like if we needed to like commission one to like if we wanted to have like a sterile environment to grow, a person. If we needed
There
to
is, you are aware that they have been using this technology in your absence, and they said they would continue to develop it. And so it's fair enough to say that Dr. Mercule would probably have a large enough one, even if, you might have to talk to him about how he would go about doing it, because you know that he's stingy about his things. That's the one thing that you learned about him in the time you spent here, was just that he is a very stingy individual.
That's fine. Well,
But
this is Grimm's lab. This is where we can make it happen. But did you
Right.
want to test and see whether or not your your little mansion works here? How that all works?
Oh, yeah. No, that should be fine.
We
Yeah,
could
I
open
guess
it up and somebody step in for like 1 minute and see if it is 1 minute here,
it
or I
it
don't know.
it should absolutely run on local time, but we'll give it a whirl. Let's set it up here for the day. Is this wall a good spot? Just point at
Don't
like.
see why not.
All right.
yeah, so there's two secret entrances to this small little recessed laboratory of his. So you could choose any one of those as a threshold to open the door,
I don't
or
think
if you
I.
just wanted to use a wall. I
Yeah,
don't know what you're supposed to do.
if there's any blank space on the wall, any surface at all is fine.
Okay, cool. Yeah, then you can just put it right on the wall.
Okay. I'll step inside and count to 30 and then poke my head back out and be like, was that about 30 seconds?
Yeah, it seems about the same.
Okay, good. Yes, we're on local time.
Well, there we go.
All right.
Okay, great. So now we know we can safely sleep in there without wasting all of our time.
Yes.
And more
This is
importantly
good.
than that, you have significantly more space to work in.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's not full of dead goats.
Exactly. Oh yeah, no, because you don't all want to sleep in here. This would be, maybe not the best place to sleep.
I'll,
Grim, did you request that Brogy or Mora come down here to meet you and help with anything, or are they cool back up top? I don't remember you mentioning reaching out to them.
Didn't mention it. Probably would not have, only because they're not party to any
all
of
the
this
secret
stuff.
information. Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
I was just double checking.
Yeah, I
just
don't
to
want
make
to
sure.
get them involved in, all of that.
Cool beans. All right, so you are in your laboratory with the door going to the magician's manor, or whatever you call it, magic manor. Present and ready, available to you. What would you guys like to do? I believe that at this point we are months instead of days, which means that you have 4.5 months, I believe, until you need to give your answer to Inveruna.
Yes.
yeah. We should probably talk about what we want to do about them before too long, but we have a little bit of time here, so if we want to focus on helping Orin with his problem.
Yes. I think that is good.
Maybe
Grim
let's
can
just...
focus on the organic components of his body. I imagine Oren will probably want to focus on the clockwork components of his body, yes?
Or Aquim, or both.
Well, I
Probably a
imagine
mix of
maybe
both.
exactly, maybe they would probably be, related, those two. Yeah.
Should we loop in the doctor as soon as possible, see what he has to offer?
No, yeah, of course, because we don't know about the soul transference, but we can ask if he knows.
Yeah.
Or if he
so
knows
let's-
someone who knows.
Let's do that.
Claire's here with us too, right?
He should be.
Think.
Maybe.
Cleary is there, yes. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry. I've just been going through a little bit of I'm not sure what the word is. It's not quite PTSD, but I don't like being back here. And you can see that he's still queasy from the boat ride over, in which he was probably throwing up half of the time.
We can clean all of this out, by the way. Grim is done with this experiment, so it doesn't not need to be, it can become a more, we probably need a much more sterile environment, I think, than this,
Well, and we can work in the mansion too. There's stuff in there.
That's true. This is true, yes.
Right. Well, the most important thing I think we should try to find out is where we can speak with an expert on soul transference. Where, as we know, Grim is quite the expert in taking it from a dead body and putting it into a live one. I'm curious as to, is there a way for us to do this without murdering Orin? Not that I'm opposed to murdering Orin if that's what we're going to do.
Wouldn't be the first time I've died.
It's just, it's probably there's a better way, I would assume.
Yeah, yes, well, one would hope. Can we... Well, shit, let's just go find this professor and see what we can drum up.
Maybe he's
Right.
eating dinner or something. We can find him.
So I didn't
talk
bother
to
to-
someone about Aquam construction.
Yes, that would be a job for Turtle Man.
I know a bit, but I need to talk to someone who's...
Yeah, let me just
Far
drop some
more
guys in that I
advanced in
could
it.
that I could use to remember who's who. Oh god, that's in the background, so he's full size. Token Slayer. I'll drop some guys in so I know where they are. So we got our boy Theodore St. Chortle. Who are we gonna use for? Yeah, let me drag all your guys' peeps on here too, so you can tell me where you are at any given time, what you're working on. It'll be easier for me. So I'm just
Theodore
tossing
St.
you.
Turtle. You mean Gubo? Is that who that is?
Is that who that is?
I think that's Gubo.
Well, right now it's Theodore St. Chortle.
Well, right now it's Theodore St. Chortle.
No, I was still amazed by how ridiculously strong he was.
Yeah.
Players.
Seti. We got Graham. We got Cleary.
Feels working here, right?
Huh? Heels?
Feels.
Seals. Yes. The seals now work because the whirlpool has been opened.
Right.
Before that, they did not work. And Mitnir. There we go. Oh, you're so tiny, Mitnir. Okay, there we go. You are all here. And you are free to move about the cabin.
Let's do it. Let's open this door. Do.
Yep. Let's go.
Where's the guy? Give me a blue guy. Close enough, I guess.
Fucking over here.
Okay, sorry. So as you guys head out to the main plane, you find that most of this area has been turned into either where you currently are at the upper deck has been turned into offices or different areas for experimentation. So as you open the door and walk out, you see a couple of different workers that are immediately there, and they're like, "Oh, you're back! Oh, it's so good to see you, Master Grimm. Have you made any progress on your designs? I believe you were trying to crack the old immortality gig, eh?"
Oh, yes, I did that. Now we're trying to, well, this is different, but some similar mechanics, but we're trying to put a soul in a new body. But
I see.
looking for Dr. Mercure.
Best of luck to you. I have succeeded in this recently. And you watch as he drops a single drop of Vetiva's nectar directly onto a fish, and it starts flopping around. He's like, "Aha! You see, that fish was recently dead."
Oh, good job.
Yes, of course. Instant revivification. Well, it's just a work in progress, but soon we will have an imbibement that can bring you back from death.
Very good, very good. Okay. Do you know where Dr. Mercure is?
Dr. Mercure, that's a good question. He's probably by the revivification tape.
Okay.
Let's go
Is
to
that
the tank.
Is that the big tank up here?
Probably.
Yes, that's the tank.
Okay.
So Minier just goes straight there. As you're walking over, you see that the path along the waterways is the path along the waterway that leads up to this, and you can see that like this is the path they took. There's a tour guide giving instructions. Has been left more or less the same. There's still even like the remains of some of the I don't actually remember what you call them, but the shark folk that you killed that were here, the zombified versions. You can see that their bodies have still been like left in the same position, but they've cleaned up all the gore and just like replaced it with like a stuffed version. It's like, here, these massive zombified shark folk that was slain mightily by the group. And so you can see they're giving this information as they make their way through the tour. And then there's others that are just going straight in. There's like a small file line that goes straight into the area underneath where you bested the creature left to you by the matron and found your way out of the temple or the cauldron of purity. So are you just, because you are on the upper level, are you just gonna like hop down and just like bolt through these people? Or are you gonna like how are you getting across since you're just going straight across to where they said it was?
I
was
briefly want.
I walked across these like the different paths here, and
yeah, so you can just walk across the path and like come through here, and then there's this door, yeah, and then come through that way. Yeah,
I guess
absolutely.
Minier's not gonna make it in there at all. He's gonna just follow onto the tour. Like he gets distracted and just like commenting every now and then, like he was bigger than that.
I trust you, I know, sir.
Yeah, I want to very briefly mingle with the tour group and then just make comments like, those people must have been really sexy, or like like just talking up the people that opened the cauldron.
Yeah, the guy giving the tour, he's like, canonically, we are aware that there was a very sexy individual traveling with them at the beginning of their journey. He goes by the name of Kaz. So he starts to.
He was only visually appealing.
He says, some might claim so. And ever since he gave up his chastity for the, as he called it, enjoyment of life, he has been, well, a loss to those in the Sea Swan Temple. But, well, life does go on and changes, much like things changed here in DDR 2463. As he keeps moving across.
I will yoink Mitnir out of the tour at some point and go to meet up with everyone else.
But he left out all the good parts.
No, that's what tour guides do.
So as you guys make your way in, some of you probably behind Grim and Orin, who, since they didn't get distracted, as you guys make your way this sort of subtle backway path to this familiar door that is now open. No riddles, no hidden locks, nothing, just open. And as you walk in and the door is open, you see that there are several what appears to be scientists. Several of them are wearing like actual protective gear and doing scientific experiments. You can actually see sparks and arcane energy flying out from the gears underneath, and you hear, "Hold it tight! Give me something useful for once, won't you?" And you can hear just a bunch of clanging going on underneath the tubes, and like bubbles are like going on inside. He says, "The energy will collapse and we will lose the patient." Inside, when you guys look deep into this massive tank, you see what appears to be a very small, like, moving bit of flesh. It has no distinguishing features to it, but it is the small, not quite still piece of flesh that is just hovering in this massive tank.
Grim will make a medicine check or something.
The previous occupant of this tank was much
if he can figure out what's going on there.
Sure, make your medicine check.
Oh, I only made a 16.
16? You're aware that whatever this is, it is not necessarily even a piece of an entity anymore, so much as it is a very small scale, very simple functioning organ that doesn't seem to be any of the known organs of the human body. You're not sure what function it's actually performing, but it is a very simple organ of some kind.
Mitnir does the kid with the fish tank. Thunk, thunk, thunk.
Yeah.
You know, and it tunks. There's no reaction inside. like the nectar is undisturbed, the bubbles are undisturbed. It's just you just click on it.
Grim will say, "Oh, do you need assistance?"
Who is that up there? Is that you, old boy? And you watch
Okay.
climbing out from underneath is the biggest mustachioed fish-like creature you have ever seen. You see what appears to be like it's not made of hair, but instead what appears to be like a sort of long stalk with like a fin-like trills that come down to form this massively curled mustache. You can see a sort of crustacean-like body coming off of his head, and you can see like small little almost like a little antenna and his sort of like beady eyes that are not black but rather a deep cerulean color. He himself seems to be almost like looks like he's made out of like a sort of like diamond crystalline colored shell. And as he looks at you and he begins speaking at you, you see he almost has like a mandible like mouth in the way that it's split at his lip, but the rest of it is still relatively flesh-like in the way that it moves and very humanoid in overall essence. And he goes, "Ah!" And you see his fronds begin like to tickle and move, like they dance a little bit more than a mustache should when he moves. And he goes, "Oh, good. I'm glad that you have arrived back here, old friend. Have you made any progress on your device?" "Oh, no. It's you." And he looks behind you guys. He looks just straight past you all, and you see that there's another scientist, and he's just like, "Yes, you're the one who spilled tea last time we were working in here. Off with you, Jamberson!" And he goes, "Yes, sir." He says, "He's still on probation. Tea? Who brings tea to scientific inquiry? Posh, posh."
Well, do you need help with whatever this is?
He says, "Oh, please. Well, as I know you're very good in your respective field, there's no way that you could catch up to me in technological terminologies, that boy."
All right. That's fine.
Perhaps I can help.
He looks over at you and he's like, looks you up and down. He says, "If I need something punched, I'll let you know." And he goes straight down back into working and starts like zipping away, and you can see energy arcing from underneath.
While he's looking at me, I'll do weird things with my hands. Turn them into tools and shit.
He glances at you, and then you start doing. Let me see if he notices it, because he glanced at you once. Let me see if it was enough time for you to do anything. Okay, he does see it. He says, "Oh, interesting." And then he immediately slides out, gets the rest of his body out from underneath. And you see as he comes out that his lower half is what appears to be crab legs.
Nice.
And so as he comes out from underneath, he goes, "Oh, very interesting. Let me see." And he just clunks over to you. And you see that his hands are relatively humanoid, except for the fact that each of his sort of fingers, it has a very claw-like aspect to the way it crunches in around things. It's kind of hooky at the end of each of his fingers. And he goes, "Ah, interesting. Please show me, old boy. I'd like to get a little glance at your little mandibles there. Your what are these? What are these called? These digits? Yeah. Hands. No, of course I knew that, you dummy. What do you call this inlayment of technological device within your hand? The experiment is very interesting, if I might proceed."
Oh, well, that's because of an achromatic fracture.
"Ah, I see. A touch of mechanism made its way into your soul, rewired your nervous system, and replaced certain aspects with useful tools. It's will, I believe, that brought you to this particular circumstance, more so than the fracture itself. It's your own imagination." You see, he just starts blathering. And he begins looking at it long enough.
Actually, sir, we'd really like to get your opinion on something pertaining to this man Orin here.
Oh, I see. Are you in need of repairs?
Sort of.
Sort.
Well, I cannot guess what percentage of you is mechanical and what percentage of you is, I presume, electric?
Celestial.
Celestial, you all look the same to me. Well,
Stares at our group.
I can certainly help with the repairing of the small amount that you need. I've learned quite a bit about the inner workings of this station, much of which is inspired by Primus's original mechanical designs for the creation of alternative life, sorry.
Wow,
And he begins blathering again.
that's really cool. I definitely want to hear more about that, but it does pertain a little bit. We actually need help with a soul transference.
So, perhaps you should try talking to a witch, a hag, or
Well,
perhaps you should try speaking to a necromancer, or
Oh,
something
no,
of the
no.
sort.
No, not that. To a new living body.
Yes.
So not so much possession, but a permanent binding of soul and body. Well, I mean, simple enough to do. You can easily do such a thing with the clone spell. I believe that you simply need a potent archwizard. Grimm's been working on his own project. You don't need any of this.
Well, the
No,
problem
a
is
different body. See, you'll see, this body that he has, it is blood.
it is very
We need
cursed.
to replace it with one that is. We need
Not
to
cursed.
remove the impediments from it and give him a fresh one without any of the impurities. If we just recreate the same body, it's going to have the same issue. But if we give him a new body with...
Well, the thing about that is the soul is typically very difficult and finicky. It's very easy to return to one's own body if one has the will and the guidance of, well, a god, the allowance to return to their body. What it would simply take is a god to say no. Whoever's in charge of whatever their soul home is, the other thing to stop them from that would be, well, simply being lost. Do you know how difficult it is to find one's body again? Without a strong will to reconnect it, it's a shot in the dark. Now, trying to find a body with which you're not familiar, the soul will never find such a home. It's near impossible.
What if a soul was already bound to a body that was not its own?
Perhaps it could be more used to the procedure. I would say there's a chance. Be it, I'd say 25%.
I will say, I will probably be familiar with the new body as I plan on creating it.
That does make things more interesting.
And we are using a piece of his father as the source material for the organic material.
It might help. The thing is that whereas we may have some of the genetic material that brought forth this creature, assuming that's the way Celestials reproduce, I haven't actually taken the time to learn such things. But I would say it would be difficult. Think about the soul and how it forms and functions. You recognize your body as your being. There's no real separation between the ideology of what you view as your soul and what you see, what you can feel, taste, hear. To separate that is a difficult task. To remake the soul and make it recognize something else as its own body. But if you could make something so familiar, so you, in the same sense, I think it's possible. I'm not sure to what level the organics of his father may have, but a structure that he makes himself and is intimately familiar with, body, soul, enough time and meditation, it's possible. I'd say with that, we move up your chances of survival to 28%.
Better than the current 5.
Well, as it is, there's not a whole lot I can do for you. We could try calling a few experts, but...
We'd be grateful for any assistance at all.
You know any Aquam experts?
Oh, yes, Theodore St. Portal is here, actually. The foremost expert on Aquum transfusion into different substances.
We
I
are
believe
familiar with
he's
him.
recently managed to turn Aquum into a crystalline form.
Oh, neat. Do you know where he is?
I believe he's working on the... I don't know what the scientific term for it would be because fill in the blank here. Gagnor didn't do the work to naming that device. But he's working on it.
Okay.
The thingamajigger.
Oh, yes.
And where is that at?
Well, you know, it's right up there, due north on the map.
Right. Thank you.
All right. Well, we could go look into that and talk to him.
So, okay, you guys you guys go to this location, and if you remember, this is where that big body was plugged up to all these
Yes.
tubes. And as you guys approach, you see Theodore St. Turtle goes, "Well, hello there, you fellas. It's been such a long time since I've seen you. It's so good to have you back."
Hi, Theodore. It's so good to see you again too. We're in a bit of in need of some assistance, actually.
Oh. Well, any way that I can help you, I'm more than happy to snap to it. As he does it, he does a little turtle snap with his beak.
Oh, I love that. Oren, would you care to explain?
Well, I'm looking to create myself a new body composed of organic and inorganic material. Most of the inorganic material will be aquam based.
Well, I see.
And I
Y'all's
hear you're the man
into
to
some
talk to about
weird
aquam.
shit, I guess.
Yep.
I mean, just me, I'm a big fan of a good experiment. I'll tell you what, but I'm a little bit concerned about this one.
Yes,
Ah.
well,
We're
unfortunately,
kind of shooting
needs
for the
must.
moon on this one.
Well, I'll tell you, I've been working very hard, and I've come up with some pretty good solutions. When you say most of what you're going to put into this body would be made of... Sorry, this is trading voices. Yeah, you say most of what's been put in your body would be made of aquam, so there's some options there, I'll tell you what. But, not entirely sure. What kind of parts of your body were you thinking about using as an aquam substitution? Or using aquam as a substitute for?
Well, not totally sure yet. Definitely the outer layer.
The outer layer. The pliant and supplability of flesh would be difficult to replicate, but potentially not impossible. The programming necessary to do it on the spell formula would be a non-act, which would be very, very difficult to pull off, but we can try. In the interim, might I make some suggestions on organs that would function properly when used in this way?
Oh, definitely.
For instance, the liver. Very good organ to be replaced with aquam. Its filtration systems can be nigh on better than any that you would get in a normal human liver. Although, I suppose you're not human, are you? But you know what I mean. The process of removing, eliminating waste from your body should go incredibly well between those, in most of your filtering organs, the kidneys, those as well, should go exceptionally well. Things that will not go exceptionally well, the lungs, for instance. Because their ability to accept such an altered element as air makes it slightly juxtaposed. Whereas it's simple enough for it to create the function of it, it being able to use that substitute energy that is not its own makes things difficult. So the lungs would be a problem, as would the brain and potentially the heart. The brain,
A heart.
only in the sense that creating a brain out of aquam would be the undertaking of a lifetime.
I don't know
Now, I
about
do.
the heart, actually. The heart is probably one of the more mechanical organs, don't you think?
I think the heart would go incredibly well with an actual mechanically functional heart. I think that using aquam for it would actually, if anything, have a chance of error. Although you could make each of the pumping sections out of it, I think that the main system should probably be, well, enchanted, and I would say metallic.
Hmm.
Well, I do have
When I
Major
speak
steel
of
I can use.
the body, let's talk about things for a moment here. When you look at your body, we assume things like pumping blood is the most necessary thing. But we're not pumping blood. We're working on something a little bit more potent. Yes, we're making a body from nothing. We might as well use Vetiver's nectar.
Ooh.
Yes, Grim was considering this. We will
As
have flesh
such,
components, though.
we can use it as a power source that is unlike what a heart would do. And this is something that I'm more than happy to start work on when I have some spare time next month. We would call it a nectar reactor. Ooh, that sounds good. Or Vetiver's reactor. Ooh, or a magic heart pump unit. Or a pumpy tump. Ooh, I'm calling it a pumpy tump.
Well, I'm glad to see such enthusiasm for the project.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. I forget sometimes and a little bit gets away from me. I just get a little bit, woo! And he starts shaking his turtle limbs, his big bulky body, just sort of wiggles it out for a second, does a little dance, and then whew, gets back to center. He's like, all right, here. Look, I don't want to step on your toes. If you need help, old Theodore St. Charles is here to step in and, well, like I said before, snap to it.
Very
But-
good, very good.
At
We
the
appreciate
interim,
that.
I do have my own projects, and best of luck to you. I'll try not to get in your hair, even though I find what you're doing quite fascinating.
We will
I-
definitely have you involved at some point.
Yes,
Well,
we'd all be happy for the help. This is a new frontier for us, so
yes. Well, in the interim, you should probably find somebody to help you with the obvious problem, which is, well, how you get yourself into the body. We can all make you a body, don't get me wrong.
do you think there's anything we can do in the making of the body that would increase the odds of the soul being able to find it? Beyond using organic material from his father and him making the body himself.
Well, it depends what fractures he's made up of. I can tell you've got a few different cosmos swirling around inside you. But if you're made of a particular type of material, you'll synergize with it exceptionally well. As we can see from your digits, you clearly got some Amacatus in you, so a mechanical body would suit you well. But if you
I
have
actually
anything else
have,
hiding in there,
2 achromatic fractures and 1 celestial.
well, the Celestial then, we'll lean into that as well. Use parts of creatures that are more, shall I say, eternal. Then,
The celestial one is actually from my father.
So, yes, it is his father's body that we will be using as the base.
Whereas you can use the parts of a celestial to make one, I'm not entirely sure about the potency of its divinity. That might be lost. I think it would behoove you, if you were going to find something, would be a fallen beast or some sort of creature of the celestial realms that's willing to offer a bit of itself to serve. Now, I know you don't make me want to be a monster of some kind. I get that entirely. But the more divinity trapped within it, the closer you can claim it to be celestial material. Dead, gone, no soul attached to it, body of celestial? I haven't done a lot of studying, but I don't imagine it's got a whole lot of that left in it.
I see.
This is true.
But hey, I'm not a theologian. I'm a scientist.
Maybe Bala will give us a tooth.
Sure, you could try that. Just build everything around a tooth from whoever that is. Could probably do it.
Well,
I mean, if it's a tooth of like a big time celestial, I would say probably Sword Archon or higher. That might give you enough divine material to work with to at least infuse what's left of his father's body with something that you can use. Again, you'd want to talk to an expert in souls and maybe an expert in cloning. Did you guys get any recommendations from the doc?
He said he knew people, but didn't give us names.
Oh, well, he's forgetful and he's stingy. You probably need to remind him. He might give you something.
All right. Do you know anybody?
Well, I spent a large majority of my scientific pursuits trapped inside of a frozen hell, so I pretty much know the people here and a whole bunch of dumbasses from inside.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk. We'll ask Dr. McGill for recommendations and go from
The
there.
reason why I say Dr. McHugh is he's from the outside world and has been all over Selindor in his pursuits, so.
Yeah, no, that's fair. All right, thank you.
Oh, no,
don't bother
you
the
are
grab again.
most welcome. I would hate to be shellfish.
Oh, I love your jokes. All right, so can we go back to the doctor and get those names of other people we
Yeah,
can
you
talk
guys
to?
walk the 30 feet back to where the dock is, and at this point you can see that he's got his like little crab legs hooked around some of the pipes in the ceiling, and he's hanging upside down and working on the top of the tank. And he's like, "You better not be missing anything up down there. I tell you what. I let you back in here once, Jameson, just once." All right. He's like, "Oh, you've returned quite quickly. How can I help you?"
Yeah, we forgot to get those names of the experts you might know that could help us.
Ooh. Oh, yes. There's a notebook on the table down there. And you see he's pointing, and he's like currently like he's got like what looks like a little blowtorch. He's at the top of the thing, fusing two pieces together. He's like, it's right there on the table. The third page from the top. Yes.
I check.
So you go over to the desk and you look, and there's like just a scatter of papers all over it, and then make an investigation check to see if you can find what he's looking for.
This one looks like a menu.
18.
18. With an 18, you do find the papers he's looking for. It looks like it's basically like a little address book. So it says third page from the top, and you begin flipping through, and it's a list of names starting with A's. And on the beginning of the third page, you find Archibald Eagleman.
Oh shit. Okay.
Is that the way? We have to go talk to the Eaglemans?
Well,
Says,
not
Eagleman.
just any.
Oh, yes.
Eagleman.
That was the one. Yes. I always forget his name. There's so many of them. Archibald Eagleman, the source. He is an expert you might want to try speaking to. I have there listed his personal direct line.
Oh, well, that's convenient. I was just going to send him a message, but can I?
Oh, feel free to use that if you'd like. That's his steel line.
Yeah, I'll add that.
It's
to my
basically
seal.
just like a geometric pattern.
Sure.
Scan it with your seal like a QR code.
Were there
Yep,
any
exactly.
other names, or is that the only one?
On the list of the page, it's Archibald Eagleman and Archibald, like Alistar, and
No, I mean
a lot
like.
of Archibalds on the list.
Let's
He-
call the Eagleman.
Okay, yeah.
We could probably go back. We don't have to do that
No,
earlier.
yeah. No, let's go back home.
All right. So you guys are going back to your
Our
Your mystic
lab
manor.
/ mansion.
All right, so you go back in, and what would you like to do?
Paul Archibald Egelman.
All right, so are you using the seal or using
Let's use the seal.
sending?
May as well use a seal, yeah.
All right, so use the seal, and you click it, and there's a moment. And it's just like you can see the humming of it trying to connect. And there's more humming. And it's you've never had anybody not answer a seal before.
Oh,
And
come
yet you
on,
think this
Archie.
might be what happens. So it just keeps humming.
He's not answering.
No,
I will-
just let it ring.
Send him a message to answer his seal.
Eventually he'll answer, right?
Maybe. We'll just leave him like it's on hold. Just
Yeah.
like start.
All right, so
Sit
you
here and
guys
talk.
are you guys just gonna wait till
Let's
it?
just sit there and talk while we wait.
All right.
So, Grim was thinking, let me know what you all think. Where is, or how is, Orin's soul connected to his body? Is it just those runes?
Do we know?
We don't know.
Is
I
his
mean-
soul in the runes?
The runes.
I'm walking away to let you guys discuss this.
In order for us to put him in a new body, do we have to find a way to move his runes over?
I think
could-
the runes hold the Northought avatar at bay.
Yes, but do they also contain your soul?
I'm going to say no, because I only have one left out of 9. And if they contained my soul, I would have lost a lot of it from that.
Or it's like if you're hanging onto a ledge with 9 fingers and now you only have 1 finger left, you're still holding on. Your whole body's still attached to that 1 finger. But
Hmm.
now your grip isn't as strong.
I think
So
the
we-
runes are more of a trap to keep the avatar at bay. You guys
Yes.
may not know this, but my inner realm is literally my soul being attacked by the avatar constantly.
Well, that
And
sounds
as
awful.
the runes have been disappearing, it's been getting closer and closer to taking over the soul.
Right.
My inner realm is not a pleasant place.
I wonder, hang on, we could come at this from multiple fronts, and also we need to consider, okay, we make you a body, and it's going to be a good place for your soul to go, and we're all set. As soon as you leave your current body, it will become an avatar.
Yes.
We need to figure out how to deal with that. But also,
Yes,
I
we do.
wonder if I am practicing altering the dream space, and I need a lot more practice, so this is a grain of salt kind of thought, but maybe we could come at it from 2 fronts, and I could work in your inner realm to try to shift your soul over somehow, or help protect you from the current assault that's happening there, or even maybe we could stage our fight there if we had to. If we could get him out of your inner realm, maybe then the body would not be at risk.
Is the inner realm the same as dreams, though? I don't think that's quite the same.
Well, it is. It is like
It
your
is
own...
the same space, but is it the same space?
I mean,
It's
a
like
dream
It is-
could
it is this-
probably pertain to part of your brain, right? Because your soul is quite, a different thing.
yes. I mean, it's. I think of it as like your own little house in the dream space. Your inner realm is unique to you, and it is more attached to you than any other place in the dream space. But I still have a bit of... I've been able to do some things there.
Also, if this body's gonna turn into a monster or avatar, Shouldn't we remove the fractures before that happens?
If you remove the fractures, then there's no point in making a body that is compatible with those fractures.
Well, they would go to the new
Because
body,
the fractures
right?
are bound to his soul anyway, more so than the body.
If the soul leaves the body, does it not take the fractures with it into the
The
new
frac-
one?
Yes, the fracture should go with the soul. We've had these discussions before.
Yeah.
The fracture should move with the soul. Grim does not see a way that we can move or into a new body without at the same time creating a new unbound ephemeris.
Wait. Hold up. Explain that a little bit.
Well, I mean, if we move his soul, seems like pretty good bet that it's going to turn into an avatar. So you either have to kill the avatar, be ready to do that, or bind it in an unbound ephemeris.
I see.
Which would be a good way to deal with it.
Yes. Yes,
Grim
that
does not know if
is.
there is enough. Well, I don't know how much we can say with.
Or we draw more runes on it.
But that is if the runes are not necessarily connected to Oren's soul, which we do not know. If only we had a way. Well, this is, we'll see if Egelman never answers. Maybe we can ask him if there's a way to detect souls. Maybe we can. I wonder, actually. Let me see. I'm gonna pull out my soul knife and just see if I can use it sort of as like a little divining rod.
Divining rod? How would you explain to me how you would go about doing that?
Well, like
And what
because
you're using it for specifically?
I just want to see like if it like I don't know, like because if it resonates at all, like I don't know,
Off of anything in particular?
off of so like like
You have
I
a
know what it
soul.
does
You have
with
a soul.
I know what it
You
does
don't
with
have a soul.
normal ensouled flesh,
Mhm.
right? And cutting that flesh and tying it. I want to see like where it, like kind of put it like close to or touching the various parts of Oren's body. Like, don't worry, I'm not going to cut you. I just want to see.
Like if you make an arcana check for me and see if you can sense if there's any part of him that seems more or less soulless than any other part of him. Is that what your attempt is?
Yeah. Trying to see if like the knife seems to know, like, oh, this doesn't seem to have any soul in it.
Well,
Like
certainly give it a
sort of
try.
like gently poke at him.
Yeah, make me an arcana check.
It's a 4, but it was almost a nat 20.
Yeah, so as you're going around exploring him with this knife, I mean, you're kind of poking and prodding at him, and yeah, he's poking you with a knife a couple of times, and it makes you feel a little uneasy because this is like a soul-cutting knife. It's not chill.
But this is not the
it's-
right approach.
and you're not getting anything from this except for that the Orin is extremely uncomfortable.
Well, this was not the right idea.
Mitnir
Let's see.
assists with his own knife.
Oh God.
And just stabs Orin.
Does that mean I get the advantage with my arcana check? Mitnir's assisting?
Mitnir, how are you assisting, Mitnir?
I'm poking and prodding the same way he is. We're looking for something on Aaron, obviously.
Make me a dexterity check. If you fail, you're making an attack roll.
Dexterity. That's the number just up at the top here, right?
Yeah.
It's a 5.
Cool. Make an
Nice.
attack roll against Orin with your tattooist knife.
Let's see. Does this have?
It's an
You're
item.
gonna miss. You're gonna miss.
It has an attack thing.
Yeah. Okay, just a second. Can I equip that? Let's see if it'll let if we set it up right to allow that to just be a thing. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Hit. So a 27.
Damn it!
So Gagnor walks up and stabs you. Roll damage.
I got a really good AC.
Yeah,
23.
You
And
just
you
weren't
friggin'
expecting
hit
him
me.
to. You just didn't expect him to walk up and stab you.
Or like,
13
It wasn't
points of
about
damage.
me not being able to dodge him. It's just that my friend just walked up and stabbed me, and I
Oh,
don't know
I-
why.
I like to
Unwanted.
picture it like he was like cringing away from Grim and just like leaned right into
And he
Vineyard's
turns
knife.
around
no,
and you're just like
Nitnir, does your knife have any blood in it now?
Probably.
Pulls it out. 13 points of
Yeah,
damage.
that's a bloody knife.
Well, it's a D4 plus my strength, so it was a plus like 10 for the.
I got a
Here,
baby
here.
gash in my side now.
Just pulls the knife out like.
Put that on my soul
Healing
knife.
word.
Put that
Just
on
kinda-
my soul knife.
Just kind of
gonna,
flicks
like,
it off onto your knife.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, you flick it onto the knife. It kind of sizzles with a little bit of, like, it's not like a portion of his soul is
You get
then
9
there
points
in
back.
the
No,
blood.
I'm gonna pull out a jar or what do you call it? A tube with a devouring black cap. And I'm gonna
Cool.
pour that blood onto the devouring
Just to see what
black cap.
happens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you see, put it on the devouring black cap. Sorry, black cap, and it just pours over it like blood.
Meaning
That
your
doesn't
wife's
seem
off
to
his
react
blade
at all.
No, not the black cap. No, sorry.
I mean, you just wipes
Those
the
are
blade
the
off on
ones
like
that
Orin's
eat.
sleeve.
Those are the ones that eat souls.
Correct.
That'll
I
prestidigitate itself in
prestidigitates.
an hour.
Okay.
Those are the ones
That
that eat
didn't seem
souls.
to have a reaction, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
There is
because-
the biting blood cap that specifically eats blood and flesh.
Yeah.
But
But
the
that
one
doesn't mean anything because your knife doesn't cut soul, so that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Yeah, no, your soul is not located in your blood. You cannot take a piece of the soul from blood that has been removed from the body, is what you've just discovered.
Not previously already, yeah, but if well, I mean, I could also.
You're gonna try to
also
stab
just cut
Warren
Orin.
now?
This is also something I could do. It would be a gentle cut. We could just take small samples.
So, Orin, as you're sitting there, Cleary is in the corner reading a book while these two sit next on either side of you with knives, trying to decide how best to remove parts of
We
you.
can just cut your finger, Orin. We won't have to cut you big cut. Just to see if the mushroom reacts.
Wait, the whole finger? Just
Oh no, just a prick. Just have to take a sample with the soul knife and see if the soul knife can retrieve a soul, an ensouled blood sample that the black cap reacts to. And then we'll know if there is ensouled blood in your finger.
Right.
It is logical, yes, I think.
I'm not sure I understand the point, but I don't see the harm in trying either.
So you want to
Well,
try
look,
to cut out a
normally-
little piece of my soul?
It's not
And then
the
feed it to a
logical.
mushroom.
This is not an active mushroom. It's not like I'm, doing the Grimshrew. I'm not casting the spell. This is just to see. It's just a normal blood cap to see if it reacts with feeding on the soul. This is what this type of mushroom does. We'll see if it feeds on it or not, or if it just,
I don't know if I want to experiment with a piece of my soul.
would that be much of your soul? How much soul is in your finger?
I think the real question is how much soul is left in me. How much was even put in me to begin with? We don't know.
Well, I hope it was the whole thing.
Not
Grim
necessarily.
is right. There might not be any in your finger at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not comfortable with this right now.
Okay. Very well.
We got a few months. I might change my mind later. We'll see.
That's good. Yes.
Well-
We have time to think.
In the meantime, we're going to have to think of ways to possibly move your tattoos over in case we need to do that.
Well, that sounds like a job for Mitnir. And query. Like, go back to the seal. It's still just like that.
Right now, when you go back, you don't hear pulsing. Instead, you hear scratching.
Scratching. Why do I
We
hear
butt dial?
scratching?
He's just listening in.
Egelman? Archibald?
You hear the scratching stops, and then you hear, "Hello.
Hi!
Sorry, I came in about halfway through your conversation."
Oh, there you are. He's just
Well, then you have a
listening.
little bit of context for why I called you.
Oh yes. At first, I did not remember who you were, and then I realized, well, I'd never met them since they had the seal, and then I realized I'd never given you my number. But at the same time, your interesting is so captivating, and the name so sounded familiar, so I just started taking notes.
Well, yes, we met you on the pass, the Devil's Spine,
Well,
a
yes,
very
of
long
course
time
you
ago.
did. Yes, of course you did. I believe that we've settled all of our business arrangements that we had at the time.
Yes. Well,
Yes,
now we have a bit of a more personal problem. Our friend
well, a
needs
more scientific problem.
scientific as well, yes. He needs a
You're
new body that is different from the one he is already in, because the one he is in is corrupted.
Yes, well, of course. So this all makes perfect sense, yes. Of course you're trying to do something like that. Well, you should see a druid about reincarnation magic. Good job, good luck to you, goodbye.
no,
Wait,
no,
wait,
no,
wait,
no,
wait,
not that.
wait.
We
That's not quite what we're after.
we hear that you are an expert in souls, and we need to move soul to an entirely new, freshly made body.
And where you heard information about this, that I'm an expert in souls? Who's giving you information that a human like me would have any information whatsoever on souls?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. A human like you. Dr. Merkel is the one who gave us your name.
There's a moment.
But of
Pause.
course, we also just know that you're so super smart and you have immense means at your disposal with all the shops and stuff and connections.
Make a persuasion
surely.
check.
So, that is a 22.
22. I see you're trying to flatter me. But you're not saying that I'm entirely against. I'm just noting the fact that you're doing such a thing.
I wouldn't say
Well,
it's
as it
flattery.
is.
It's definitely the truth, right? You have connections for sure.
Of course, I have connections. I also have quite a number of skills. But you don't realize exactly what it is you're asking me to do, are you?
Well, we are
Nope.
gathering information.
Well, if we did, we wouldn't be asking.
Mitnir has a point.
You have one sentence. During this sentence, you will think to yourself, if I'm going to plead to this man, I would ask him very clearly what it is that I want and why it is important that I receive his help. You have one sentence, no more than 10 words.
Who wants to say things? Who wants to use our 10 words? Why we're asking, or what we're asking him for?
He says, make your request and why it matters to me in 10 words.
Dave Selindor from Northside. Make Oren's soul. Damn it, I thought I could say that in less words.
I know that's why I was like,
you guys are like in
A
a huddle
new
just
home.
going, I want to write 10 words.
Grim will just say, the universe ending would be really bad for business.
There's a moment. And you can back up these claims that there is a level of importance.
Again?
Yep.
Where are you?
We are in the Cauldron of Purity. In my lab, in the Temple of Betaba.
I shall have that at my utmost highest speed, my earliest possible convenience.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
However, that may be some time for you, but I will
Probably at least a
arrive.
month.
That much I can say.
That is very generous of you.
When I arrive, I would like you to have spent enough time familiarizing yourself with the cloning process.
Oh, I'm very familiar with the cloning process. Yeah, I can assure you.
And reincarnation magic. Research both of those and have an understanding. We will talk soon.
Okay, thank you.
Goodbye.
Okay, well,
I'm an expert in both of those. Like, I mean, I guess you guys could study.
reincarnation. I
Like,
mean,
should I study it more? Like,
I know resurrection magic. Reincarnation is a whole
Grim's,
other
Grim's
beast.
having like really bad imposter syndrome. He's like, do I need to like?
I thought I
Should I
did
do
it.
it again?
Oh no.
Like, I know I did this before, but like now I'm not so sure. Do I need to do it again?
Egelman doesn't know what you've been up to.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. I thought I did this before, but
Okay, well, you know what? Fuck it. I will go to the library and look for stuff on reincarnation magic, and I will study that shit. And then every night when I sleep, I will practice inner realm shaping. I will maybe see if my dad can spare some time to like help me evolve my abilities, and we'll tackle it from that side too if we can. And what else do we need to talk about or plan for?
oh, we need to talk about tattoos. Well, runes.
Yeah, yes, that
Multiple
Cleary
types
and
of
Mitnir I
runes and
think
tattoos.
should, but then yeah, whose turn is it? Who still needs a tattoo from the dragon dust?
Do I have the breath on mine yet? I don't remember. I don't know if Mitnir's breathing on anybody yet today.
It'd probably be yours next, Grim. Like if we are just going through.
Probably.
Because I think we did Bropsy's, we did mine.
You'd have
Grim's
already
the last
done.
Chinese a
one.
while ago. Yeah,
That's
Grim's
probably
last.
just Grimm's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grim-
Because
Grim
he can't
and-
do.
And Cleary.
All right, well, one of you lucky boys is getting a tattoo today.
Okay. Do that. That'll be fun.
Okay.
Also, I think we need a capsule large enough to fit a person, probably in my new lab. So I don't know how much that's going to cost, but I should probably go and requisition something like that.
Absolutely. Okay, let's do the tattoo first because mind
Yes,
protection
yes,
is
that would
important.
be-
So you get your tattoo, Cleary, Mitnir, you're on that. I'll go read about reincarnation magic, and then you requisition that thing that you need, and we'll go from there.
It's getting kind of late. We could probably do that in the morning.
Cool.
Requisition.
Yes.
Very well. Good. Well, we'll take the time to do that, and we will reconvene tomorrow afterwards, unless there's anything else anyone needs to do tonight, because this is going to take all day for me. And therefore also Grim, and therefore also Mitnia.
I think I'll just work on some crafting tomorrow while you're doing all that.
Cool. All right, go ahead and do your what are you working on right now?
Our communication rings.
Rings. Okay, yeah, just go ahead and make me your intelligence proficiency check. And then I will say this is an 8-hour block you guys can work in, or no, that would be too long. 6-hour block
22.
before relative stop. So you could time and a half to 8 hours if you'd like, or you can burn the midnight oil and go to 12 hours. Your choice.
Just do the 8. That's fine.
Cool. 8 hours. Also roll me a d20 as a new day. You are now rolling for yourself, for your wards, for your sigils on your body.
Okay, one sec.
Can he get guidance?
No, this is a straight D20 roll.
Uh,
There's no ups, downs, or anything. What he
I
gets, he
know.
gets.
So I might just kill y'all in a moment, so hang on. Hold on to your butts. 10. Right in the middle.
We'll see you tomorrow. Because the
feel like
one
that
thing you
was
guys
close,
have
but-
done is multiplied the number of times that he has to roll that by 30.
that is the downside.
So we kick him out of the cauldron.
Send him back
Do
up
that.
top. And Veruna fucks him over in 6 days, but
I think it's four, isn't it 4? 4 days now?
4 days, yeah, whatever.
4.5, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
All right, so
I mean, yeah, 4.5 months. So,
said he spent the night, like whatever was left of the day, researching reincarnation in the library.
cool. Make me an investigation check.
Hell yeah. Maybe Bropsy could be with her.
Yeah.
24.
24? Yeah,
Use the subject matter
Bropsy
expert.
uses the reincarnation magic whenever she has revivified somebody in the past. They don't revivify, they don't keep your usual body. They, in fact, grow you a new body with which your body inhabits. As far as I'm aware, that typically looks like you, but it can be a different body altogether. If I'm not mistaken. Could you read the spell for me, Grim, since she's done this?
Yeah. Let's see. The magic fashions a new body for the creature to inhabit, which likely causes the new creature's race to change if the GM rolls a D100 and consults the following table to determine what form the creature takes when restored to life, or the GM chooses a new form.
So as you see, what it typically does is it creates them a completely new body.
A
But
new adult body.
a new adult body that it creates. But it does use their current body as the blueprint for what it creates. And it uses their soul as the blueprint for what it creates.
The creature
Provided
recalls
their
its former
body
life
has
and
been dead no longer
experiences.
than 10 days.
What if the
You have to
body's
have
living?
a piece of their dead body at least.
That's the easiest problem for us to solve.
Kill it.
But the thing you need is the piece of dead body. It uses the body as a blueprint rather than just the soul.
Yep.
So
If we used my father's piece of body, we'd be reincarnating him and not me.
Yeah, but he's been dead longer than 10 days, so.
Yep.
That's true.
yeah, I'm not sure how this helps us.
It's just
He
the
said to research how it works. So you
Yeah, it's the
understand the
just the
concepts.
mechanical, right?
mechanics
gotcha,
of growing a new body from nothing, yeah.
Okay, well, all right. Bropsy and I research and
Yeah.
share what we learn with the group.
Meanwhile, you also, because you rolled high enough, I will say that you learn enough about cloning, which is to say you take a piece of your body and you grow a duplicate of the exact body you still have.
Mhm.
And then when you die, your soul will then go to that body. Which is the same thing that Grim did with his shroom, except for his is tied differently and grows a new body differently.
Mhm.
But the mechanics are the same.
That's
So
a
he
good
wanted
one.
you to be familiar with both processes by the time he made it in.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, with that, as you guys spend the night working on tattoos, crafting rings, and reading, we will go ahead and take our break and we'll be back in just a little bit. And probably start accelerating time.
Heyo, good shit. Back in 5.
Hey,
So, as time moves forward slightly, you have your tattoos put together. And I will say, what would you all like to do and work on during this week?
well, we're probably going to need some aquam, I'm guessing,
Okay.
because if we're building an aquam body, well, aquam flesh body, we're going to need some aquam. So that
Good.
should
Yeah.
probably be part of the routine, right?
600. I have 622 aquam now, but we will need more.
Yeah, it's also the currency, and we're going to need to buy things, and so.
Yep. So,
I feel
do you
like
guys want...
I don't have a lot to contribute in terms of like actually building the body or doing any of the like soul magic, right? So like I can be on Aquam collecting duty every day with whoever else is also feeling a little useless.
I can lend you my gauntlet grapple hook / net launcher
Yeah,
that I made for collecting aquam.
Near, you want to go grapple some Aquam?
I mean, yeah, during rain time, I can go grab some aquam.
Well, I mean, I was gonna. I mean, it's 6 o'clock, right? I mean, that doesn't take too
Yeah,
long to get out
so
there.
it takes a while to do it on foot. On the boat, not rowing at super speed, it would probably take 2 or 3 hours a day. Like so,
Yeah.
about I would say normal rowing it'd take about 2 hours, because you're going half the. It's a lock. It's a quixotic lock. It's a lock. Sorry. So when you go from the temple all the way out to where it rains, that is several miles. And the least amount of time it could be done without like super rowing is 2 hours. So like let's say that they're really trucking, that's 4-hour round trip every single day and then there's the time that's spent actually collecting the aquam.
Yeah.
It's a
So
long time to be away from research or whatever else is happening.
so you need to be
That's true.
aware that during that time that I mean that's like probably close to, let's say, sure, 30 minutes to an hour for rain time, right? That's 5 hours out of your day every day.
Okay.
Unless you guys are working in that area, in which case it'll be a lot easier.
We
to...
could, if all of our stuff is in the mansion, we could just take the boat out there, live on the boat out there, but then the mansion can open from the boat, and we can just live in the mansion on the boat.
Well,
in
the
the rain
issue is having
You need the temple
ready access
stuff.
to Vediva's nectar,
Right.
which will be important to, imagine, growing the body and keeping it alive and pumping it full of.
You're not entirely sure what's going to be necessary for this, but but I would tell you this right now. You're going to need, first of all, the Vediva revivification tank is going to be necessary for growing anything you're going to grow.
Yeah.
And more importantly than that is the thingamajigger. The thingamajigger is going to be incredibly important if you're going to pump him full of Vediva's nectar.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking, is it needs to be. Yeah.
But that could be later on. Right?
Yeah, it can come later in the process, but yeah. You got to still make a living body. It's going to take a while to get it going.
So why don't we say that maybe Seti, Mitnir, and Bropsy are on Aquam collecting duties, and we spend generously half our day, probably a little less than that, but like half of each day collecting Aquam.
Go for it. Well, Grim will definitely suggest using reverse gravity. Then.
Come on, baby girl.
Do we have that?
Propsy can memorize it.
Mitnir stands on his head. Gravity has been reversed.
Hey, Will.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely an easy way of.
Okay.
Definitely an easy way of getting a lot of that easily.
Yeah, we can try that.
It only lasts for a minute each cast, but that's, I mean,
I have to move my
Cast.
car real quick, so I'll be right back.
Okay.
yeah, casting that, letting it gather, and then scooping it all up from the top.
Sounds
While you're
good.
flying. You could probably get a good amount of it that way. In addition to, using your nets and stuff.
Yeah.
But for a minute, you get at least one solid good farm per day, right?
Yep. Sounds good. So that's our plan. That's what we'll try to do.
The
That-
first 2 days, Mitnir lets the two of them row the boat, so
But why?
I can study my health book.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, go ahead and make an athletics check for every day that you're going to spend exercising, because you basically know more or less how much time a day you're going to spend exercising. If you
That's,
guys are
16 for the first one.
16, okay, so you get normal. You're going to get a normal success.
So that's 8 hours, right?
8 hours up for 8 hours, yeah.
52. Okay. If I roll really well, it's only 2 days. And then the next day would be another 16.
Yep, so 8 hours.
And that puts me at 40 on day 5, because yesterday I didn't do, like, the day I did the tattoo, we wouldn't have had time. So I have to do one more day. Okay, good. 21.
Yeah, so normal success.
Okay.
Yeah, so you successfully do your exercises.
That was day 6 for the 8th hour, like the 48.
Gotcha. So you successfully do the exercises and drink all the random crap it had you get and drink, and all the random shit it made you eat and everything else. And with that, you feel a change happening in your body over time.
Oh, he starts
I do
sprouting
want
little
to
hairs.
spend. I do want to spend like maybe an hour every day, like staying in shape, but also like getting into better shape. Like we're heading into some apocalyptic shit, and I want to maybe spend like an hour every day just training with Mitnir and like doing like we'll do some running and some fighting and some.
Here's what I'm going to say, just because it's too difficult to do every single day and then just let you guys do everything, because that doesn't make like you're costing anything. So I'm going to do it in week blocks, and you can decide if you want to spend that week focusing on one particular task. That doesn't mean that's all you do, but that's the only thing that where you gain direct gainful benefits. In one particular thing. If you want to spend that crafting a body or doing research or finishing your rings or whatever else, then you're going to be doing that with the amount of time that you have in the weeks, which means you're going to be able to finish all of your projects time-wise, because there's no way you wouldn't during that amount of time if you were doing something like that. But during that week, if you spend a week leveling up, you will gain 1/4 of a level. One entire month is enough to gain a level, but you are capped at 1 level in this place.
Okay.
I'm gonna worry about that in the last month. I got a lot of stuff to craft.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Seti's gonna have like.
All of you go lay down. Go. Go lay down.
Talking to the dogs, I'm assuming.
Go lay
Oh,
down,
you
Balin.
can hear that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So go
I'll
lay
just
down.
Mute. I'll just mute.
Lay down, Balin. Come on.
Yeah. Hit
Go
the
on,
back.
get.
Yeah, go lay down, Belin.
Yeah. I think I don't have any specific pursuits that I need. I mean, I'll help with research where I'm needed. I'll inspire people and enhance ability on people. But I think maybe
I mean, there's plenty of things you guys can do and things you can work on, but it depends on how you want to go about making things. With the construction of Orn's body, the way we're going to do it is this: you decide for the different parts of your body, which is like your organs, your heart is one thing. The rest of your like organs that just do your processes are another thing. right? And then your brain is another thing. Your skeleton, your muscles. This is excluding the heart, but your normal muscle fiber that's used through your entire body. Your vascular system and your nervous system are all things that you guys need to be able to make. Not to mention the exterior body that is holding everything together, your skin would be another thing. So each of these could be made out of entirely different things. Who knows? It's about choosing different things to make it out of and how you choose to make it that is going to determine how well it all works out. And any bonuses you might get, because you are making a new body, you will be rolling new stats. You will still be getting the benefits from your fractures, but what you make yourself out of will determine how your stats shake out at the end. Of course, this will be your physical stats only, not your mental stats. Your mental stats will remain unchanged.
But we gotta get his. I mean, he needs a skeleton, I think, before he can do anything else.
It's entirely up to you. I mean,
Now,
technically,
if
you
he-
could go skeleton less, but you would have to, at that point, do an external skeleton, something to
Of
keep the
course.
body structured. So,
Is the plan to have Vetiva's nectar for blood? Is that the?
that was Theodore
plan?
St. Chortle's recommendation. That
Yeah,
does
that's
not
what was
mean that's what you need to do. All of this is just them saying, oh, we've got this fancy new toy. We want to put it in everything. You've got a cool project where you're making a people, which it's not like people haven't made people before. It's not like people haven't transferred souls into different bodies before. But they're
Yeah,
all very
Vetiva's
concerned
nectar's
about...
Pretty cool stuff, though.
First of all, they're all very concerned about using their new toy, and they're all very concerned about the fact that Orin is already something wrong with him. So we'll see what happens. But as far as that goes, as time goes on, I would like for you guys to work on specific things, and that might be just getting materials. But for this first week, everybody is spending their time focusing on one particular thing at a time. What would you like that to be?
I mean, Grim's gonna definitely be working on some aspect of his body.
Okay. Would you like to, because this is before you guys have a developed plan, is there a particular thing you would like to be working on developing now during this week?
I mean, I think
like,
the
you could
first
just
thing
say,
would just be cultivating like cell cultures, like from the sample of his dad's tissue,
okay. So
to be
if
able to,
if you want to work on
to be able to
getting...
like cultivate like stem cells and stuff, to be able to like, I don't know, be able to grow healthy tissue from that sample and stuff.
Fantastic. Go ahead and make me an Arcana check for that.
Arcana check. Is that Arcana or medicine?
This is Arcana.
It's
It
gonna
would
go
be
so
medicine
well.
if you had worked with Vetiva's Nectar and living bodies long enough to use your medical skills. This right now is very specifically like arcane scientific stuff that you have not gotten into.
That's a 12.
12. As the week goes on, you begin to get an idea or a concept of where you need to go with this to bring it to life. And you realize that a lot of what they're doing with that tube is they are taking completely dead small amounts of cells and replicating and growing them into not only organs or beings, but new designs that they can create and program as they go. So they're basically changing DNA blockchains to create new things. So with what you witnessed in their studying, you realize that even though you are taking from a cell that is a bit of a tiny bit of cell, you have been able to get it back to life. And you know that you can use it to make different kinds of cells than the ones that are present. You just haven't figured out how effectively that's going to work and how well that's going to combine with anything else you guys are going to try to make.
Yeah.
But you
Just wants to make sure he can get it living and growing and stuff.
as was said, or as was noted from the other ones, there does not seem to be a glow to the flesh. As you've like quote unquote brought it back to life, it seems to have regained some vigor. It doesn't appear to be like dead, dust, nothing. It seems to be like normal blood cells and normal tissue cells. But there doesn't seem to be any underlying radiant or divine energy running through it.
Okay.
That's what you get during your first week. Who else? Who's next?
I'll just focus, like when I'm not collecting Aquam, I will focus on just research and learning.
So a week of helping collecting Aquam,
Mhm.
right? So just go ahead and roll me. What methods would you like to use to do that?
We'll try with Bropsy. We'll try the reverse gravity method.
Okay. So you guys are going to try the reverse gravity method.
We also have Orin's grapple net hook thingy.
Yep, which is a good collecting device, especially on a reverse gravity situation.
Yes, so we'll combine those two.
All right, so with that, roll me 6d10. Now I gotta get a calculator for this.
6d10.
6d10.
Uh, 42.
That's pretty good.
Okay, so you collect 2,940 Aquam during this week.
Orin, add that to your
Which, considering the amount of Aquam and the amount of AE that falls during these events, is a very large sum.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas it does rain and it's like pelting, like a lot of it is collected and spread over a very large area. So the amount that you've collected using the limited space of reverse gravity has made you the envy of all the Aquam hunters.
Yeah, as I say, we're gonna tank the
lock.
economy by
What was the
hoarding all the
total?
wealth.
It was
29.
2,000.
940, I think.
Yep.
2940. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, and for the net, you have 5 charges per cartridge with 4 cartridges, so that's 20 times you can use the net. So it should last a couple weeks.
Okay.
Beans. All right. With your studies, go ahead and make me an investigation check.
Oh, ooh, that's a 30.
30. What is you specifically researching?
I want to help with soul transference, with any deeper dives into like cloning and reincarnation that might be beyond the scope of what we've already learned. Just anything that seems helpful to Orin's situation. But
Yeah.
we'll look at souls. I think specifically with soul transference, like anything that would make it easier for his soul to find the new body.
Anything? Yeah. Okay. So with a 30, you do a lot of deep dives into concepts, and most people don't have this issue. Is what you found, and the reason why is because there's not a lot of reason why somebody would specifically need a new body, even if the one that they have is wrecked for whatever reason. The soul identifies itself based on what it recognizes as its own body. So when you go to grow them a new form, the imprint that is left from the soul and from the flesh tell the same story of what should be, what is homeostasis. So it's easy enough for them to create something, or using reincarnation method, which goes into the great cycle of life, in which anything that does not have a soul home will then recycle, actually cheats the system by bringing the body to its fore immediately and bringing it to a completely new body. It skips the entire process of losing your memory, re-entering the cycle, and recycling your energy. Instead, it creates a new body that is imprinted upon the soul, but has all of the random circumstances, and they must get used to their new body all over again. Is the way that it's sort of spelled out there. What you're looking for is somewhere where you can get Orin to have a body that he's comfortable with that is completely new. And because you're looking for that specific thing, that's where the difficulty arrives. But you did find, in order for something to move from one soul to another, there are plenty of different intermediary vessels that can be used. For instance, there are soul gems that can be used to trap souls within them and hold an essence. That might, based on the research that you found, make it easier for him to find a way home, because rather than going from one space to his soul home back to his body via death, instead you transfer him living into a device that houses him and then move it from that device to his new body. So instead of having to guide it through the ethereal of all of reality, you simply need to guide it through known spaces and create some sort of a conduit, which should make it significantly easier for the soul to know where to go.
Right. I'll float that idea to the group when I, come upon it and see if maybe we can acquire one through Hagelman.
Yeah, during this time, the body does not die. It just becomes incapacitated until its soul is returned.
Yeah. Okay, that's my week.
Okay. Mitnir.
I'm assuming most of my week would be the book reading in between Aquam stuff. Would be
Helping with tattoos.
Yeah, like I assume my first week is pretty much full at this point.
You might have a bit of free time if there's anything else that you would like to additionally work on. Just something small.
He will do his attempt at like some really rough like stick carving, like not like details, just like he's got an outline of like Orin's body shape on the ground, and he's taking sticks and like acting like he knows where the bones would be, like laying them out.
Okay, so you're trying to figure out a good way to make a skeleton for your friend. Go ahead and make me a medicine check for that.
A 15. It was almost a nat 20.
Well, you don't know much about the human body. You don't know much about dragonborn bodies. You don't know much about Aasimar bodies for fucking sure. But you do know a lot about skeletons because you make them out of people. So as you spent time hacking away at several creatures over time, you've been familiar with how their inside structure is more or less laid out. So you do a pretty good little approximation of what
I'm just assuming
bones
though that, like,
of something you've killed might be.
Yeah, we've done a lot of monsters and stuff, so like there's like a shark-sized leg bone attached to a regular human-size, bone. It doesn't really line up properly.
Yeah. It's not like, you're not revolutionizing anything, but you might have made, like, if scientists had found these parts and they were an actual skeleton, they'd be talking about it for decades. But yeah, you put something together. You're definitely laying the groundwork for what you assume is a very good skeletal structure. All right.
Show it to Arn at the end of the week.
So Orin, are you working on just finishing your rings? How many have you completed and how many do you have left?
I don't know. Because I just have a percentage for the whole thing.
Oh,
well,
you do?
The total number of hours to finish all of it is what I have listed.
Oh, what is that? What is that?
144. It's 144 hours.
Uh-huh.
And I'm at 37 and a half hours so far.
Oh yeah. So if you want to, you may complete all the rings with this week without having to roll. If you would like to roll for days, each day X amount of time to see if you can complete it sooner, I will allow it. But you can't just skip that and say the rings are done. Week 1 complete.
Yeah, I'll roll. If I can finish it sooner, then I'm gonna start researching organs and stuff.
So then go ahead and we'll go ahead and do it by 16 hours is maximum amount of time that you can work during a day. So if you're if you're buckling down and that's all you're doing is holding yourself up and working, then do 16 hours is your base, and then roll your intelligence plus proficiency to see if you're multiplied or deficited.
Well, first one is 12.
You actually get less done than you would have liked to have gotten done during the first day, and you only get half progression. So you get 8 hours of work done in the first day.
Okay.
There are too many distractions going on in your head, too many flies buzzing around. It's too much.
It happens.
I keep interrupting him to see how his ankle attaches to his leg.
Oh god. Next one is a 14.
Again, you just struggle to get any work done today.
This is not going too well.
Get another 8 hours in on your 16 hours of potential work time that you could have done.
At this rate, I'm not even going to finish it this week.
I'm saying that's roll it.
Can Bropsy be giving him guidance?
That was a 24.
24. Because I'm pretty sure Bropsy spent most of her time with you guys.
That's true.
Doing the collecting, so.
I did say that.
You rolled a what? 24?
Yeah.
Okay, you can get time and a half. So it's going to put you at
20. Right?
24 hours for the day. Because it's 16
right, 24. Yep.
times 1.5. So you get 24 hours that day, which is more than you accomplished in the previous 2 days combined.
Yeah. Okay, this one is a 23.
23, it's normal success.
So 16.
16. You guys often stop by Oren's workspace where you find like dozens of ring like inlays just laid out all over the place, and he's just like getting the lays, and you can see that he's just like, I hate this finicky shit, as he's trying to get the different bands of gemstone dust to like collect and actually like attach themselves properly to the band that he's inlaying inside of the other one. It's a nightmare. Would you roll for
four? That was 4 rolls. How many
That's 4
days
rolls?
am I doing?
7. It's a full week.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 more. That's 22.
22 is normal success.
Okay. There it is. That'd be getting there.
Couldn't have finishing it right on time.
22 again.
22 normal success. How close are you?
That's I need like 19 and a half hours, I think.
Well, you got 1 day left or 2 days left?
1, 2, 6, 1. This is my last roll.
All right, let's see.
23. No, plus 5, 28.
28. Yeah. So go ahead and do time and a half, which will give you 24 hours, which means
so that finishes it.
that you finish.
Exactly.
No, but you finish early by the time minus divided by 2 by 8 hours.
Oh, so I
So
got 8
you're-
hours to do
You
something
got 8
else.
hours to do something on the last day. What would you like to do with that?
Research organs.
All right, during that, go make me an investigation check for any information you can find on organs in your first day. Or your first day of looking at this up. First 8 hours of researching it. Which I think
18.
that probably is what distracted you. You kept wanting to look at organs, but you knew you had to finish the rings, and you kept reading up on organs, but then you kept going back to like, I gotta work on these rings. And then like as you were working on the rings, you're like, oh, these rings, they look like veins, which will go through my body. Oh my god, I'm making a body. You know, there's a lot going through your head, and you had a rough time. But you do get to learn, some information on. First of all, I don't know how much time you've spent looking into the anatomy of living creatures and how they work. My guess is not a bunch.
Well, I
but
know key points. I
Yep.
know pressure points and stuff on bodies.
Yeah,
but I
you
don't
know
the
how to
inner
disable the bodies.
workings.
You know
could
the spots
disable
to
them
hit.
real good, but
Yeah, real good. So you actually spend that time getting acquainted with the basics of just what is a person, to the knowledge that I think that you as a person have now, maybe less so because their technology wasn't as good and they didn't know much about how bodies work. But basically, you know about what Beelan knows about like what's inside, which you didn't know before. Like, oh yeah, there's lungs, there's the liver and the kidney and the pancreas and the colon and the, you know all the bits now. Okay.
all right, now I have to actually make these rings.
Yeah.
Like in D&D Beyond.
Oh, right. What were you doing with those again?
So I was making them stronger than the previous ones. So that they could be used at like much further distances and potentially across planes.
Potentially across planes was your goal. Yeah. All right, so that'll be interesting. So what you're looking for is like trying to get that resonance like perfect, so that they resonate with each other so perfectly, and yet each one is unique to itself. Yeah.
And I made them out of Magisteel.
You made them out of Magisteel?
Yep.
And each person had their own gemstone, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Their own gemstone, and a part of them was bound within the ring itself.
Cool.
Like their hair or feather, whatever, was mixed in with the metal.
Oh, yeah. Sweet. So, yeah, you got a bit of genetic material, you got a bit of this, bit of that, bit of this, bit of that, and you spent the time working on it, and you used good materials. So, go ahead. This is going to be a time. Do you want to get Mitnir to breathe on them?
Ooh.
He could just breathe on all of them at once, right?
He could do one a day or all at once. One a day would give it each one their own individual chance of getting something special. All at once would make them all have a better chance of all of them functioning the same.
Yeah, I'll do all at once at the end there.
Okay.
Like on the last day.
Cool. Okay, so go ahead and you roll me a d20 plus your proficiency bonus plus your dexterity for how well you put these together. We obviously know that you did the enchantments. All that was good. I want to know how well the craftsmanship was done to get them to the point where they accepted the enchantments.
Okay, so dexterity plus proficiency?
Correct.
Ooh. I need a reroll. Rolled a nat 1.
Well,
is Mitnir assisting me? Oh no, this is for my thing, right?
Cleary could be assisting.
Cleary, if you wanted to, Cleary does not have a specific task that he has currently been set to work in the first week. If you want to have begged Cleary for his artistic help making your rings, then you can not only take it with advantage, but add a +5 to the roll.
Definitely have his assistance.
All right,
I'm
Cleary's
pretty
like,
sure
very well, my artistic skills are required.
He also wanted whatever was left of his thing back that I didn't use.
It's true.
So if he's there, it'll be easier to do that too.
Yeah, his was the scale of Lunesca, so.
roll again and add plus 10.
Sure.
So 34.
34.
Way better
With
than
Cleary's
that.
help, they are much better.
Yes.
Much better than they would have been if you'd have done it yourself. You're not much of a jewelry guy. You're more of a practical things that work guy. You can make jewelry. You can give it a little bit of flair. But like the delicate works, you're just like, I really just want to make sure the enchantment gets in there. Cleary made them pretty. Cleary made them
Last
so
time I
that
made these, they were like bands. So
Cleary
zero
gave
detail.
them. He made sure that the magic could flow through them through the art, that it moved with the magic, then it moved with the gemstone, so that everything was in its natural structure. He complemented the geometric shape for the crystalline forms, the way the crystals formed, into the ring's overall structure so that they would multiply rather than fight each other. As such, Mitner, you will get advantage on your D100 roll.
Oh boy.
We are looking for above or below your player level. Or sorry, below your player level at the top and above your player level at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? You know the rules.
Yeah.
Top and bottom of the spectrum, your player level from 1 in 100.
So I'm just imagining you just puts them all like on end, so you can just blow right through the middle.
Sure. I would have just put them all in one spot and gone, but yeah, sure, a row. Yeah, that's great.
All right, so 2 D100s and let's see, it's a 52 and a 33, so neither make the upper
Neither
or
make
lower.
meet the upper or lower threshold. So you are not going to be receiving your super benefit on these rings. All right.
That's fine. That would have been a bonus anyway.
Yep. Yeah, that's the thing about his. It can or can't help you. It's just one of those things. As such, there's going to be a minor benefit from the ring type. What are your current ones? Because I wanna use those as a base for what we're changing about these other ones. What are they called again?
Platinum Band of Communication.
Which I can only look at through one of my characters, right?
Yeah, probably. Cleary should have access to it all.
Yeah. Cleary Asentov. He needs to level up too. What's it called again? Just my brain.
Just
Band
a
of what?
platinum band of communication.
Platinum. Band of communication. Doesn't really matter which one is which. Oh yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Do you want it to be something that is active at all times, or
It's going to be mental activation. You just have to think, I want to talk through the ring, and it happens.
so telepathic communication, not spoken?
Yep.
Okay. Think through the ring. All right. Cool. So there will be no limit to the distance that you can speak on these rings between one another on. Once per day, you may use the sending spell, sending across planes to somebody else in the position of a ring. Those are the changes that are made. And you may communicate telepathically. You do need not speak. But as long as they are on the same plane in existence, you may speak to them through the ring telepathically. Otherwise, you may use the sending spell once per day, but it sends across planes to one of your desired targets.
So these are going to be the rare version, basically. The other ones were uncommon.
Make these very rare. They're extraplanar communication. That's pretty good.
Technically can't make very rare yet.
Oh, you can't?
Nope. That's at
Oh,
level
well.
16.
Well, then you got lucky. They're just rare.
Yeah.
They're just very strong rare rings. Yeah, as a rare ring, I think that the distance would be closer to like a mile.
Well, the previous ones were like
900 feet.
900 feet. Well, they were all different, I think.
Yeah.
Depending how well I did. I think most of them were 900 though.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can. This doesn't have to be unlimited range. We can reduce that.
Yeah. Then what we'll do is a mile.
Because I was just trying to get them further range than the previous
Yeah.
version.
Yeah, because same plane of existence is what you'll get for very rare. If you can make them very rare, they can be same plane.
That'll be,
Instead,
version 3 when I hit 60.
that'll be version 3. Yeah. So this is version 2, which is within 1 mile in the same plane of existence, and you can still send the sending spell once per day to communicate on another plane of existence. That is still canon.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna make those, and you guys can continue doing things.
Yep. Moving on. Grim, what specifically are you doing during your week?
Didn't I already do that?
Yep.
Yeah, did we do your whole week?
Wasn't I the first one?
Yep.
We did do
Yep.
your whole week.
Yep.
Fuck. Prophecy, did we do your week? Other than we know that you're spending your time collecting with them and helping all around, is there anything specific you wanted to accomplish with your week?
Assuming you're awake.
Assuming you're there.
I think she helps.
I think she just helps. Okay. Moving forward.
Could we say that she spends that week trying to level up? Just like give her at least like partial credit for.
She did enough work for you guys because
Okay.
she was offering help here or there. She's throwing around her weight to just make things easier for everybody else. I'm going to say that she doesn't have enough time to spend the whole thing leveling up, but she can certainly do that with this next week. Should you guys decide that that's what she would do since she's not here. But in the interest of that, week 2, what would you guys like to do?
Can I, before we move on, just one of the nights that I'm practicing fucking around in the dream space and visiting people's inner realms, can I try something that's probably really stupid? I want to enter the dream space and try to see if I can seek out any shred of Viramis in the dream space.
Looking for Viramis in the dream space.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make me an investigation check with disadvantage.
Okie dokie. That's a 19.
You search what you know of the cosmos. You feel out for what you know of Orin and his father. From the sense that you've gotten, from the bits that you've seen, you may have even at a time seen his corpse. I'm not entirely sure.
I don't
You
know.
may have even witnessed his current self in the fields of Elysium, but you don't know whether they dream. However, you know that at least right now in the dreaming world, which seems nearly timeless, you cannot find his dream.
Okay. Worth a try.
Yep. Okay. Week 2, everybody. What are we doing?
Hands go lay down. Midas, you fuck off. Go somewhere.
That's what he's doing.
Do you hear in the background?
Yeah.
Midas fucking off.
Poor Midas.
So, by the way, you guys have a total of 18 weeks
Yeah.
before you have to give them the answer. So, that's the reason I'm doing this in weeks. I thought months was too shallow a time, but
Yeah.
weeks is still a lot.
There's also fortnights.
No, we're doing weeks. I refuse to use fortnights. That's wild. If I don't use it in real life, I'm not using him in a game.
You don't use fortnights in real life? Guys, like Thanksgiving's in a fortnight. Like just
We're gonna do
casual
the
conversation.
We're gonna do the Fortnite dance. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
All right, week 2. Do we need more
My
aqua?
Fortnite dance.
How much? Like I don't know how much aqua we need.
Flailing. You don't know how much
No.
aqua you would need either, Orin.
Do we? Is there only
You're
the
muted.
one revivification tank?
Or at least your audio didn't come through. Only one revivification tank? Yeah.
Or can we
Um,
get
there's
our
go-
own?
Get more if we can.
You can certainly make something that's different, but the actual tank that does the job of what they like, the big thing, there's only one of. And it's because the amount of energy and mechanics that go into making it work are so extensive. They take up like a third of the facility.
Okay.
This tank is not just a tank that holds Vetiva's nectar. It is a tank that produces Vetiva's nectar.
Okay. It's like we gotta like kind of work on pieces and then like construct it in there.
You'll have
Maybe.
to figure it out. Yeah. So
Well, I
I'm
think
gonna-
Grimm's gonna, at least in part, kind of continue what he was working on last week. Because he only made moderate progress on that. He didn't like make it all the way.
what were you working on again? Because my brain just can't hold 7 people's.
Trying to bring those cells back to life and everything, and he learned to he can that they can kind of code it and kind of grow it into different things, and he had only sort of begun to learn about that. So he's gonna, and I'm sure he has way more he can learn about that. Not like he's to the point yet where he is
Yeah, no,
good at
absolutely.
that yet.
So if you want to work on that again, now that you've gotten a concept, make me a medicine check.
Okay. That's a 28.
With a 28, you begin to understand what this Vetiva's nectar actually does. It doesn't reverse time. Nothing as grand as that. It simply takes something that is dead and makes it alive by taking the underlying decayed energies from the cell and bringing them back to a youthful state. It's similar in the way that those jellyfish turn back time on themselves, in a sense, but it's not an actual temporal manipulation. It's simply that they are choosing a previous state and they are reverting back to that by giving it the proper energy, first of all, for their regression, but also by giving it enough material that it can source from to replace what's missing. Because it is at its base core, Vetiva's nectar, as you've come to learn, is basically aquam in the sense that it can become anything that it needs to, but Vetiva's nectar is specifically been formulated to create a super serum for just regenerating the dead. With that, you do manage to start growing a few pieces of Irmas, and I will say that you can pick, based on your 28, 2 types of organ or material of the body that you would like to focus on trying to grow for Orin during this time. Get started.
Well, I guess, well, if he's gonna do that, then he's probably gonna want Orin's input. Then it's like if there's things that Orin is gonna want to make out of metallic parts,
You don't have to ask me. You just have to ask Orin.
or what things do you want me to not make out of flesh? For sure.
They were yelling.
Always.
So I would start with the lungs first.
Okay.
Heart can probably be mechanical. The kidneys and liver will probably be, I think, aqua. I think they said was
Yes,
recommended.
it's the filtration. Okay, so Grim can start making some lungs. Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, good. I will start with the lungs. That is good because I have starting
Lungs
to
and brain,
understand
I
this.
think, right?
You said
Brains is probably. I don't know if I'm ready to make brains. Are probably very complicated, but I can start with lungs.
I definitely can't make that out of mechanical or aquam, so we'll have to figure that out.
I will say that because I think Bropsy would be cool with this, that Bropsy will assist you in making lungs. Not only will she do that, but she will provide the breath of Zephyros to teach them to breathe.
Okay, works for me.
There is no better way to teach artificial or regrown organs how to do their function than to, well, magically infuse them with a primordial's energy of breath.
You are now breathing on manual.
So, with that, with your 28, I will say in the week, you have what appears to be like the left lung. Like, it's like the left lung has started to inflate when Bropsy creates the air for it. The other side hasn't grown evenly yet, but it's coming. And I will say that is both of your organs because it is two lobes of two lungs, two separate sections. Like I'm going to say that you're growing them together, but you're focused on that whole piece, which is the respiratory system.
Yes. Mwahaha.
Okay. As it is, though, it does seem very mundane in its function and is still lacking that certain bit of something. It is certainly more robust and strong as you notice it growing than most normal creatures from the material plane, but it is still it's lacking the same energy that you're aware that Orin has, like in every fiber of his being. So you're not sure how to fix that yet exactly, but it is certainly reviving itself, but it's missing the juice.
Yeah, we got to get it. It's celestial mojo.
So easy enough for that. Orin, what would you like to do?
I had a question about the rings. So with the sending spell, is it just basically the sending spell, or is it using the sending spell to talk to the other rings?
You're using the sending spell, but it talks to the rings. Yeah, it's only you don't get to use the sending spell to speak to anybody. You can use the sending spell to speak to a ring holder.
Yeah, so
otherwise it functions as the spring spell, but your only targets can be another ring holder within the set.
Once per day, you may cast a sending spell to communicate across planes to one or all recipients bound to the rings.
Okay.
That good? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And I think everyone should be able to add it, called Bound Magisteel Ring.
Okay.
You can add that to your inventories.
Sweet. So what would you like to do with your second week in the cauldron?
Hey, upstairs.
Oh.
You will go upstairs. Got it. We can go and see what somebody else wants to do while the yelling's happening. We'll come back to you. Mitnir.
I guess no one has anything particularly that I need to help with this time.
Until you learn more, there may not be a whole lot you can do. So what would you like to do instead?
I think I will work on leveling Mitnir up for, was it, you said 3 weeks or whatever, or 4 weeks to get a level?
4 weeks. So 1 month of time. So, if you want to spend 1 week training, you may easily you may do so.
I think that's what
so
I'll do this time.
This training is spent swinging swords with the various fish people that call this place home, learning different sword styles and the ability to adapt to a situation differently. You maybe spend some time out in the still wild parts of the Quixotic Loch, where there are a few more wild creatures that you can hunt and fight, and maybe you best them barehanded to challenge yourself, or maybe you surround yourself with a whole pack of them. But you do find a way to gain some experience during this time.
Any skulls he splits, he kind of actually takes a moment and like looks inside, like it's all just mush. I don't understand.
Give me a medicine check, Mitnir.
Medicine. Yeah, that's an 8. It's just mush.
Yeah, it's all a bunch of mush. All right.
So we fill Oren's new body with mush. Got it.
Got it. Do you collect any mush to take back? Like,
That's a great idea. Like scoops out like a handful of brain every now and then. It's like,
yeah. So
brings it
here's
back.
what I'm.
Oren, is
here's
this
what-
helpful?
Here's what I'm gonna say. Make me a D100 roll. If you roll below the same roll you always make, if you roll in the threshold, I'm gonna say there might be a chance that you could find a creature that's.
I almost did it. It's an 18.
That's such a tease.
It was a 10, and the 0 rolled over to the 8.
Oh, that sucks. So with that, you instead bring him back. First of all, you bring back a bunch of dead birds at one point, and you're not sure why these called out to you. And this is because you rolled so close that I'm giving you this.
Starbucks, stop it.
So whatever they were, you got attacked by a pack of them, and you were able to come back with the birds undrained of their blood. Yeah.
Comes back, like knocks on Oren's door, like, Oren, hey.
Or you open the door as you're working on your various project, whatever you're doing during this week.
I think this is a little helpful, and just hands you.
He hands you a bag of what appears to be dead parrots.
Just look in it and be like, right. Let me just put this over here.
I'd be just look into it. Maybe their brains, right? You can take the stuff out of that, and we can put it in the new one, and that can be your brain.
Maybe. I mean, it's a little small.
Well, that's why there's a bunch of them, right? You put them all in there.
Ooh, like an inner hive mind.
So at some point during this week, after Mitnir has brought you these dead parrots, before they have decayed or anything like that, Dropsy passes by and notices them and recognizes them to be Dracula parrots, which are extremely rare and provide a useful material that can be used in alchemy to create Dracula's essence and thessalotoxin.
I assume she'll probably be like, so what are you doing with those?
Yeah,
I'll
so
just be like, I have no idea. I meant to brought them. You want them?
yeah, so will somebody roll for her a wisdom plus proficiency check?
I can open her sheet and do that. Oh, with advantage?
And
I rolled a nat 1.
Mitnir, roll me 3d6 for how many birds there are. Shoot, you rolled a nat 1?
For a total of 11.
All right, well, she wastes one bird.
There are 11 birds.
There are 11 birds. One of them she gets nothing from. Next bird.
Okay. Oop, nat 20 for a 30.
Okay.
That's more
Honestly,
like it.
I'm just gonna say she's successfully harvested from all the rest because of that. She learned her lesson from the first one, figured it out, and successfully harvested. So roll me 10d4.
10d4? Okay.
10d4.
Boom. 28.
Got 28 vials of Dracula's blood. That is what that material is called. Which, for all of the alchemists out there, should be maybe happy?
I don't know. Am I happy?
It's an
I don't know.
alchemical ingredient.
Can I tattoo with it? Like, is that?
Sure.
I just added it to her other possessions. I don't know really where to put that.
Let's see here. Let me see what this thing does real quick. Is this a, oh, this is a poison. Oh, okay. Yeah, gotcha. Cool. Fun stuff. This is more of a Bropsy thing. It's used for poisons.
Well, she's got a lot of it.
I did it at random, so we ended up with Dracula Parrot. Less useful, but still not useful. And it's very rare. That should take care of Mitnir for the week. Oren, do you know what you're doing now?
I will probably try and start working on some organs. So I could
Are you
probably
going to work with
on,
aquam processing? Or are you going to...
No, I'm gonna do the heart first, with the mechanical.
Oh, right. Yeah. So the heart, Theodore had said that he would had some ideas for that. Did you want to work with Theodore, or did you want to just do it yourself?
Oh no, I'll work with him.
You work with him? Okay, cool. So with that, you can go ahead and roll with advantage and add a +5.
And then, as for materials, I have mithril, and I have Magisteel, and Zephyrite. So I don't know. Whatever he thinks would work best.
He's like, well, you use aquam for this bit, but I think what we're gonna go with is crystallized aquam. It's new on the market. Rather than having something that pumps blood, we simply have something that re-energizes it and sends it out via the actual powered means of this energy core rather than a regular pump. Now, I'm still gonna call it a thump pump, but I'll tell you what. Its real job is to send energy to every corner of your being. I remember you send lasers out of your hands, right? Well, with this, you'll certainly still be shooting lasers, even if your form changes.
All right, let's do this thing.
It's basically Iron Manning your core.
Nat 20 for a 35.
Nat 20 for 35. Did you add his 5?
That's with his 5, yeah.
With his 5 is a 35.
Yeah.
So with your 35, Theodore St. Chortle showed up with schematics and you guys got working on it. Would you like Mitnir to breathe on it at any point?
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah, definitely.
Just breathing on each and every one of your organs.
See if we get some bonuses.
I mean, the heart is a specific. I'm not going to be like, yeah, you can breathe on his colon. No.
You shoot lasers out of my butt.
You will never have pooping problems. Just woohoo! I choose when to go. I go once a year.
It helps with flight.
Yeah. Do you want to roll a breath for that?
That's a 70, so just a little low.
Yep. Unfortunately, you don't get any special boons from this other than what it is able to do currently. Once you get this, you realize that he has created some sort of core that is made out of crystallized aquam, and the form that it is in is more sided than a dodecahedron, more sided than icosahedron. This thing is intricately layered and stacked on top of itself and compacted with so much raw aquam. its density, like as you hold this thing in your hand, as he gives you the crystallized core. Make me a strength check.
While I still have strength. Ooh, 6.
6. Yeah, so you go to hold this thing and you realize that like it's too dense for you to easily pick up. Like you go to pick it up and your fingers can't you can't pick it up under normal circumstances. You have to grab it with both hands and lift it consciously to lift this thing. That's how heavy it is.
Well, hopefully that doesn't pose a problem with the body.
Oh, just don't worry. You've got
Equilibrium and all.
Zephyrite.
That's true.
So he inlays Zephyrites into the Magisteel band that goes around it and works into this inner chamber where this core sits. He has a Zephyrite that works around it like two spinning, the spinning loop thing that happens where the loop's all like an astrolabe, kind of just spinning around themselves. You have one of those spinning around the inside of this core. And then that core is housed inside what appears to be some sort of aquam shell that is almost organic, like in the way that he's helped produce it. So it has a normal heart shape so that your body doesn't reject it. The brain doesn't reject it and is able to interact with it properly. But on the inside of the core, it is just pure energy, just pumping and sending out this energy, which is flooding into it and then filling in, basically just energizing whatever is around it and connected to it, which would be, in this case, your vascular system, which would be filled with venomous nectar.
Does that mean the brain is going to get venomous nectar instead of blood?
Yep.
Interesting.
He says, with this, we'll be constantly rejuvenating you. In a sense, you have enough energy going through this cycle. Technically, you wouldn't be needing to eat no more.
But I could, if I
Oh,
wanted.
yeah. Well, of course, as long as we give you a stomach, you can eat. I'm just saying, the heart will provide enough energy that you don't need it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's great. You know how much time I'd save if I didn't have to eat?
Spend more time making
Wait,
things.
So if we all became vampires, could we just feed off of him indefinitely?
No, because it's not blood.
Not blood.
If you're a venomous nectar vampire,
A
then
vampire would
absolutely.
not find me tasty.
I mean, a vampire could adapt to it. Although you guys know what you could also put inside of him. The fake blood supplement that was created by the school during the time.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, one of the House Necrum invented a new fake blood.
Yeah.
That can feed vampires. So that way, not only would you have Orin have more realistic blood, but he could still hook up with Astarion.
Now hear me out. There's one other solution. We put the cauldron of soup inside of him as blood. And then we really can feed off of him.
He's just walking around with a big cauldron for his stomach. Just
make that his heart.
Soup
all
powered.
right. Seti, is there anything you would like to do with your week before we end the session?
Yeah, probably, but I think I don't know if there's any avenue that I could explore where I would be furthering Orin's project. Like,
so do you just want to level up? Work on leveling up?
Also gathering Aquam, right?
Yeah, still gathering Aquam. Should I roll that again?
Yeah, you can roll. If you're doing it the same way, roll the same thing.
Yeah,
so it's going to be 60-10. I already dropped my calculator.
That's 23 this time.
And you're not missing a day?
No.
1610.
There you go. 1610. I assume Beelin's writing that down.
Yeah.
I think that because Mitnir wasn't there to help you, it made things just a little bit harder and you didn't make as much.
That's fair. That's fair. I will spend the rest of my time if any of the people working on Oren's body are like, hey, we could use some help with this specific thing, then I will help with that.
I think right now everybody is working on their
I
specific
could-
things, and you're not exactly an expert. I think until you guys
No.
learn more from
The experts.
yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do.
Well, we wanted to work on like figuring out Oren's runes. Like, do those, like, maybe Cleary and I could put our heads together to do like.
Sure, you want to just do like a deep study or try to contact some of the celestials that might know some stuff about this?
Do
Or
we need to transfer the runes onto the
make
body?
me an investigation check.
Can I have advantage because Clary's helping?
Yes, you can, and you can add 5.
Okay, that's a 30 again.
Okay, yeah, with a 30, you find that, and you talk to Bala during this time. You send her a message, and she responds, and it basically comes to this understanding that they are not necessary for Oren to live in a new body. He does not need his runes.
Okay, so
what they are for, what they are for, has something to do with his soul and the body that it's in, but would not be necessary in any new body he might have.
Okay. Okay. So we don't have to worry about the tattoos.
Not if you're changing bodies.
Does she know, since I'm talking to her, does she have any advice for dealing with the current body after his soul is removed?
Do it someplace where you guys are in full control.
Cool.
Or do it in the presence of an entity much stronger than Northop.
Surprise, bitch! Here's the black goat of the woods. Have fun. Okay. I guess that'll be my week. I work on learning that, and
yeah, I mean, so you figure out that you shouldn't need it for any reason, and I'll say even with the 30, you do find out that those runes more had something to do with the plan to for whatever plan he had to be used as a weapon, and the lack of runes in no way, as he's losing his runes, in no way impedes that him being used as a weapon. But, or rather, sorry, his currently losing runes has no way impedes him. Changing his body would impede him.
yeah. If we put runes on his new body,
They wouldn't do anything.
They would do nothing.
Yeah.
That'd be decorative.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless they were repurposed into some other, like if you were doing different runes for different,
Right.
like you could put runes on him. You could put all the runes on him you want. But...
yeah. But that specific body plus the runes is the weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So as you all spend your time here, working diligently, searching desperately for the answer, growing pieces of flesh, testing yourselves in ways you never have before as you work to do something that only the gods do, which is making a creature, a living creature. And as these thoughts and rumors spread about the strange group that is collecting more aquam than any one group ever has before, that's moving around asking questions, that has all the scientists working with them. And they've even heard whispers that these are the heroes that rescued the place, that brought freedom to the Cauldron of Purity. And all these whispers reach the ears of an individual as the clip-clop of the hooves of his mount make their way northward across an aquam bridge.
It's
As the mechanical horse moves forward, he tips his hat to passersby
I was wondering if he'd
and
been the
says,
horse.
"Well, alrighty then. Let's get things going." That's the wrong voice.
That's Chortle.
That's Theodore St. Chortle. He says, "There's so many voices."
You did it.
They're all in your head.
Yes. Very well. Let's get things going.
you
Found it.
All right.
All right. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. Hopefully we'll get to play again next week. If not, either way, we love you, and remember, we did it for the
it for
rolls.
the
Go for
rolls.
the rolls.
Good night.
Bye.
Goodbye.